Long ago, when the world was bright and full of stories, an evil wizard gained the power to touch the face of God. Narrativa, goddess of stories and weaver of our world, banished him to the void, but not before he stole a piece of her divine essence. With this newfound power, the wizard lay a dread curse upon all the world, the Glyph Purge, which struck from the minds of all mortals the knowledge of how to read and write. Now, all that stand between the Isle of Meotia and an age of endless ignorance are the bards, who tell stories of distant lands, exotic creatures, and brave heroes. This is one such tale.
Hello and welcome to Challenge Rating Zero, the latest and greatest Dungeons & Dragons podcast to hit the internet airwaves. I am Sam, your Dungeon Master, and I am joined, as always, by my longtime friends and adventuring companions.
Hi, I'm Brian, and I play Hector the Gatekeeper.
Hello, I'm Beth, and I play Rilla Longshadow.
And last but not least, we have the man who calls himself Michael, but who we call Parker. Michael Parker playing the druid Zurabak. Say hi, Parker.
Hi, Parker.
Fantastic. So, we are back with the, next episode in our epic D&D adventure. This is, you're not hearing things. This is still in the canon. We're still rolling forward.
Can I clap? I don't want to fuck up our mics, but yay!
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 No, I'm excited as well. Overjoyed, in fact. So, when last we left our heroes, Hector, Rilla, and Zurabak put out the flames raging through the city of Blackrock. Under the direction of Sheriff June, they used magic and might to knock down a line of buildings in town, creating a firebreak that halted the spread of the conflagration. At the same time, the bard Sebastian called upon his magical abilities to help snuff out large swaths of the inferno. Once the town was saved, they turned to Oscar, the madman, branded with the sigil of the Knights of the Pyre. Sebastian cleared up the madness affecting Oscar's mind, and they brought him before Sheriff June, his sister. Oscar, now lucid, claimed to have no memory of his actions and complained about nightmares plaguing him over the past few weeks. The heroes decided to leave him with the people of Blackrock to face justice. After being rewarded by Sheriff June with some magical items, they set out on the road to Picker's Run, the next stop on their journey to Everspring. So, we begin our adventure with you folks on the road. You have left Blackrock behind you, and you are traveling with Sebastian's Wagon of Wonders and the wagon train of the Chiltopel family, heading north, ever north, towards your eventual destination of Everspring. You travel through the ever-shifting and turbulent raging sands, the broad desert in which Blackrock is located. It takes about 2 days to get out of the desert proper, and then you reach broad, sweeping flatlands full of low scrub brush, a few cacti, and all manner of beasts running across it. There are lizards, there are hawks and eagles soaring about, and you even see some prairie dogs as you make your way through, rolling ever northward. You all have about a week where nothing much happens on your way to this town of Picker's Run. Is there anything you all want to do in that time? Anything specific? Anyone you want to talk to, or anything you'd like to do?
Stare at Sebastian.
All right, Zurabak stares at Sebastian. Sebastian is constantly tense. His shoulders are always bunched up, and he does not ever escape your gaze or the gaze of your snake. He is starting to sweat, noticing that you're constantly watching him, and more than once asks, What is Zurabak? Zurabak, what is it?
You know. And then Zurabak brings his fingers to his eyes and then brings those fingers directly to him.
Okay. Do you need some eye drops? I don't understand what that means. Are we cool? What's happening? What have I done?
Don't know. I'll find out, though.
Right. Okay. Well, this is fun. I'm having a good time. Yes. What else do you guys do?
Sometime during that week, while we make camp, Hector is going to go to Inga Hilltopple and ask if maybe we got through all our bad omens, and maybe if we drew cards again, it would go better.
Hector, I'm surprised at you. You want to draw a new card?
I mean, obviously, like, it's all just a fun game, and isn't real, and I don't believe in it. But also, maybe we should. Not that it means anything, it doesn't mean anything, but maybe we'll have better omens this time.
Oh.
That are completely fake and made up and don't mean anything.
Oh, Hector, you poor boy, you do not understand. This deck, it is not magical, not imbued with any great power. It is an old superstition. Besides, you cannot draw again. I mean, you could draw as many cards as you like. They're very pretty. They have lovely pictures painted on them, but the significance is only in the first card you draw. Your fate, if you'd call it that, if you ken to the old superstitions, it has already been decided. Actually, I was going to speak to you about this. I remember the cards that you and your friends drew. I had to think for a while. Remember what my grandmother told me about these cards. I believe that I have a bit more understanding about what they might reveal, if you pay attention to such things. Which, of course, you do not, right?
Of course, I do not. But, you know, I like a good story, and this sounds like could be a good story. So,
let me regale you. If you remember, Hector, you drew the Ten of Swords. This is a particularly grim card, and one that, of course, spells ill portent for the one who draws it. These cards are a derivation. They are a newer form of an older tradition. They don't just represent themselves, they represent many things. The Ten of Swords represents an idea, a concept. The Urali. It is quite a potent curse, I'm afraid. The 10 swords represent snakes on the head of a woman whose gaze turns men to stone. Your fate involves, if you pay attention to such things, a curse. A curse that will hinder your body. Perhaps when you need it the most. I would remember the true name of this card, the Urali, as it might be something to keep an eye out for in the future.
That was a story. A story indeed. Quite a charming tale that you have told.
Oh, I have a million of them. I could tell you Rilla's card as well.
Is it better news?
Oh, my boy, it is far, far worse.
Oh.
Yes, you know what? Let's have it out. Rilla, dear, I have some. How did you put it, Hector? I have a story for you, please.
All right. I like stories. Sometimes.
I'm really sorry.
Hector here was asking if you could draw more cards, get the new omens for your future. I had to tell him that unfortunately the game does not work like that. You draw a card, it is your fate, and thus it is set. You drew a card that depicted death. Well, I've given some thought to the ancient meaning behind these cards. This card represents the skull. That is the idea, that is the ephemera that this card represents, the skull. It represents death. It represents a horrid specter that looms in your path that you must defeat alone. A dread shadow will arise before you. Any who attempt to help you defeat it may face their own shades. This darkness, whatever it is, you will have to face it yourself or pass from this world forever, if the cards are to be believed.
What a beautiful story. I'm so glad I came over here.
Yes, I know how these wonderful card games cheer you up. Well, if it would make either of you feel better, I have also divined Zurabak's fate. Zurabak, do you care about these cards?
No!
Alright, well, I'll tell you. We might have a laugh about it. Zurabak drew perhaps the worst possible card for a man of his inclination. Zurabak drew the Four of Wands. This card represents the concept of the throne. This card represents abundance. The one who draws this card will find themselves gaining great skills in diplomacy and speech. They will gain courtiers, followers, the ability to sweet talk anyone into or out of anything, and also a castle to put all of these courtiers in. In Zurabak's fate may lie a kingdom, and him gaining the ability to, speak well to all of those within the kingdom. And I must say, I can think of no more hilarious sight than Zurabak in perhaps a well-pressed doublet, holding court with a bunch of mewling sycophants. I think his fate might be worse than both of yours combined. Do you not think?
To quote Zurabak, no.
Well, the punishment must meet the individual, yes? I'm sure if Zurabak had death or curses dancing in front of him, he'd laugh and rub his hands together. Well, if you remember to be included in the group, I drew a card myself. It is no more cheerful, unfortunately. The card I drew was the Eight of Swords, another grim omen. The theme this card represents is the void, perhaps the most dire of all fates. The one who draws this card may find their soul torn from their body, and as their body lives in a permanent slumber, they may find that their soul is trapped forever, far away, in a place that cannot be reached. So, if we are exchanging doom, I am there right alongside you. If, of course, the cards are to be believed.
Well, Inga, it's always it's just a lot of fun catching up with you. It's always a real riot. I'm gonna go cheer myself up by thinking about that fire.
Always a pleasure, Hector. If you ever want to play cards, I can assure you no further dangers can arise from this deck.
I don't believe you.
So that's that conversation. Rilla, was there anything in particular you wanted to do during this week of travel?
Yeah, I'm practicing Elder Self as much as I can every day, which means 4 times a day for 20 minutes at a stretch. I just turn into a different member of our party, and I just kind of, like, the whole group. I've got 24, got a week, I've got 24 different ones of these I can do. And my favorite thing to do is to wait till someone's asleep, and then turn into them, and then loom up in front of them and tap them on the shoulder. So that happens to pretty much everybody in the party.
I punched you in the face when that happened.
Yeah.
Zurabak bit you.
Mm-hmm.
It's worth it.
Yeah. Your pranks go over real big with all the Hilltopples. They all think it's fucking hilarious, and they all start like stealing each other's stuff and pinching each other, and then blaming it on you. You become a lovely scapegoat amongst the Hilltop clan. Oh, Rilla did it. It was not me. It was Rilla, right? Rilla, you did it. So that's a lot of fun. Hector punches you once, and Zurabak bites you once.
He tries to keep eating.
No! I hit you with a newspaper rolled up. Newspapers don't exist, but I have one just to hit you.
I mean, they exist. They're just useless.
And Zurabak!
When you do this to Sebastian, something kind of interesting happens. When you do this to Sebastian, you tap him on the shoulder, he wakes up and he turns around and he looks at you. And he doesn't start at first. He doesn't react at all. He just kind of stares at you confused and lost. Almost like he doesn't know who he's looking at. And then he kind of shakes his head a little bit and says, good God, Rilla by Narrativa. Why would you do this thing? Is my nose that big? Oh no. And he like touches his face.
I only rest for 4 hours a day. What else am I supposed to do?
Any number of other things. Jenga. You like Jenga, right? We can play Jenga?
By myself? No, this is more fun.
Oh, okay. Well, good night, I guess. God, I have to start locking my wagon of wonders.
Good luck.
So after about a week of these hijinks, Zurabak constantly staring down Sebastian, Hector just fretting about the fate apparently laid out before him, and
I'm not. Who's fretting? Who is that? I don't know who that is. I've never heard of him. It's fine. After a week of Rilla's hijinks or hilarious pranks, you guys eventually start. The landscape starts to change underneath your feet. Inga gives you some info on the land you're passing through. So the land we are in now, north of the Raging Sands, is known as the Freeholds. This is all that really remains of the descendants from the great human cities that used to populate these plains. Many large dispersed settlements, many more small isolated ones. We try to make a route through here, exchanging goods with all of the different towns, and try to keep them connected, keep the money and the supplies moving. It is a good thing we have such large and well-armed people traveling with us through the freeholds. There are bandits that frequent these places. They can ambush traders and, well, it can get ugly. It is good to have you here with us to scare them off. Law is scarce in these places. Not every town we move through has a sheriff, and, well, some of the sheriffs here are hard to
Well, they're hard to tell from a bandit. Selling security, selling safety at knife point. It can be expensive either way. But the town we're going to is at the very northern point of the freeholds. It's a town called Pickers Run. It is the northernmost town until you get into the Badlands, which we do not want to get into at all. It is a nightmare there. When the Glyph Purge first happened, the great human cities all blamed each other. They warred for decades, tearing the land apart. Wild magics were unleashed and killed countless thousands. The ground itself still bears the scars of this magic. Terrible things happen. Ruined buildings sink into the ground and raise back up overnight. Huge fissures open up. There are spires of razor-sharp glass. The dead are said to walk there. It is horrible. But there is much valuable salvage to be found. The people in Pickers Run brave the Badlands, heading north to take whatever they can carry back to them. Old world technology, old world artifacts, some magic items. It is dangerous, but that is why we go here. Pickers Run has items from the old world that you cannot find, well, anywhere else. And as she stops talking, the sun starts to shift as you make your way north, and you see on the distance a rather small town. It seems to be made of ramshackle wooden buildings with bits of metal adorning the buildings here and there in spots, a weird weather vane, a finely wrought fence here or there. And as the sun starts to dip below the horizon, the sky turns its normal reds and oranges, except the sky far to the north, past this town. The sky there roils with this crazy purple color. Sort of like an aurora borealis. The light there just bends and shivers before your eyes, farther to the north from Pickers Run. And Inga says, "Yes, that's the effect of the Badlands. It sort of bleeds into everything. You'll get used to it. Maybe not the howls at night, but the light you should get used to it. Just try not to look directly at it. It's fine."
Hector is staring directly at it.
So is Rilla.
Yeah, I mean it's gorgeous. It's this beautiful scintillating swirl of like electric purple, just shimmering through the sky to the north of you. It's like the sky's split in half. There's like the normal sunset, and then this crazy color swirl past the city. And yeah, as you guys get closer, you see that there is not too many people. You guys get there well after. You guys actually get to the city well after the sun goes down. Night is on, the stars are shining brightly above you, except to the north, past Pickers Run over the Badlands. There the stars shimmer and seem to almost swirl around each other. Not one of them seems to stay in place or keep consistent brightness. It's a little off-putting. And you finally get to the town of Pickers Run itself. It's a pretty small town. One main street with a cluster of buildings on either side of it, a couple side streets here or there. And yeah, all the buildings are made out of wood of various kinds, various cuts, various shapes and sizes with little metal adornments here and there. It looks like these buildings are made out of scrap. Like, it looks like they're made out of, garbage. It's very well made garbage, but no two houses look the same, and no one house seems to have consistent architecture throughout it. You don't see any people on the streets. As your large wagon train makes its way through the main street, everyone is shuttering their doors, closing their windows, and you soon hear why as you pull into the center of town in front of a large inn. You hear a howling. It's light at first, then gets louder steadily until it's very well audible. This just weird, eerie howling that seems to blow in on a breeze coming down from the north in the Badlands, and it just kind of stays there, omnipresent, halfway between an animal and a human. Sebastian says, well, that's just terrible. Is there no good, just nice, safe place on this entire island besides Everspring? Every place we go is the worst. It's just the worst. What is this bar going to? The first bar we went to had more mosquitoes than people. It was just out in the open air. The second bar we went to was on fire. What is this bar going to have?
Poor service.
Oh, I'd give my right leg for poor service.
Do you hear that howling?
No.
Well, I do.
It's horrible. I don't want to meet whatever's causing it.
Can I discern a direction that the howling's coming from?
Roll a listen check, bub. Because this is a game and there's rules.
Ooh, 17.
The howling is coming from the north into the Badlands. You can see off in the distance, like on the horizon from where you're standing now in Picker's Run. The horizon looks a little jagged. You see a few spikes and spires sticking out here and there, just at the edge of your vision. And there's just open plain between this town and that jumble of like needle-like spires you can see in the distance. And the howling is blowing on the wind from that direction.
Okay. But I can't see anything along the plains.
You see no signs of life, actually. Zurabak, you in particular have noticed that as you pull into Picker's Run, as you get close, there are no animals. None. There's no prairie dogs, there's no birds, there's no insects. The chirp of the crickets is silent. There is no animal life, and there hasn't been for quite some time.
Zurabak believes this because he's the alpha predator here.
There can be no other explanation. So you all pull up in front of the inn. There is a pelt nailed to the front of it over the door, naming the place the Skinned Coyote. Inga gets off of her wagon and says, well, the bartender here, Old Charlie, is a rather nice man. He usually saves some space for us in our wagons. We'll pull our caravan around the back towards the stables. You all head inside, get some drinks. Maybe some rooms? I don't know about you, but I'm looking rather forward to sleeping in an actual bed and not in a soot-stained sleeping bag or a frigid mountainside.
I miss the frigid mountainside.
So Sebastian hops down as one of the Hilltopples takes his wagon and guides it around the inn with the rest of the Hilltopples caravan and says, well, an actual inn. With an actual door, actual roofs, not on fire?
We can change that.
Let's not. I'm sure there's plenty to go wrong here anyway. Shall we?
Hector puffs his chest out, stands up straight, and violently pushes his way through the front door.
You push your way through the front door, and you are met with a creaking old wooden building. You're in the common room that is completely empty of people except for an old man behind the bar cleaning a filthy glass with an even filthier rag. The room is lit by a few lanterns hanging from the ceiling, and this place is drafty and splintery. You can literally see starlight through some of the holes in the walls and ceiling, and there's a very there's a very persistent breeze blowing through parts of this inn, and it makes the flames of the lanterns dance crazily. The old man cleaning the glass looks up. Oh, well, looks like we got customers. Did y'all need some rooms?
Ho there, innkeeper. I am a well-traveled warrior here with my companions, and we, yes, with rooms and drinks all around.
Y'all got the smell of the road on you. We'll get some rooms done right up. In the meantime, here's some drinks. This'll warm your bones and set you at ease. Guaranteed. And he puts out 4 glasses, one for each of you and Sebastian. And he takes a large brown bottle from the bar behind him and pours a brown liquid into each of the glasses. He knocks twice on the bar, and a young man scampers out from a door behind the bar, takes a ring of keys, and runs up the staircase on the side of the common room. Rusty will get them rooms set up for you. Welcome to Picker's Run.
I sniff my drink. What is this?
Hector has already drank it.
Same as Zurabak.
That's how you get poisoned, Hector. You know that, right?
So Hector and Zurabak, you guys pound these drinks. It is surprisingly strong and potent whiskey. This is rot gut. There is no flavor. It is all alcohol, but it does warm you as soon as it hits your stomach. Rilla, you sniff your glass, and it's like the glass punches you in the nose.
Oh, fuck.
It makes you tear up a little bit. Sebastian sniffs it, says, "Oh God! All right. Well, thank you for the warm welcome." Oh God!
This is what you used to clean the bar? Did we drink this?
I will take another round for the lot of us. Thank you.
Sebastian says, "Oh no more for me," and he pretends to take a sip. And, delicious! You can have mine, and puts it in front of Hector.
Hector drinks it. Still orders 4 more.
Zurabak takes Sebastian's second one.
As Hector and Zurabak greedily drink down the shots of rot gut. Old Charlie says, "Well, I can see you two are of a more delicate persuasion. Let me see what I got on hand for you."
Prestidigitation changes flavors of things, right?
It can, yes.
I say, "Oh no, I'm fine," and then I surreptitiously touch my whiskey and make it taste like lemonade or something, and I just drink them.
Oh, that is a dangerous spell. Holy shit. Yeah, you make this rot gut taste like delicious lemonade, and it hits your stomach, and you feel warm. It's very warm. For the bard Sebastian, old Charlie looks down and says, "You a bard then?" Why, yes, I'm Sebastian Weaver, bard extraordinaire of the College of Everspring. I'm old Charlie. It's been a long time since we've had a bard in here. You should play a song. Might get us some customers. Most folks at night shutter themselves in, but hell, they hear some music. We might just get this going. Oh, I suppose I could. I mean, there's no one here, and I haven't really had enough to drink. We got something special here just for bards. And old Charlie reaches under his filthy bar and pulls out a pristine cocktail glass, like a martini glass, and puts it on the table. And he takes a few bottles of different colored liquor, pours them into a shaker, shakes it, pours it in the martini glass, and then takes a small paper umbrella and puts it on the side of the glass. That's called the Everspring. This is delicious! Oh, my word! Old Charlie, I must admit, I didn't know what to expect when I came to this town, but an honest-to-goodness bar and an inn with a roof and good cocktails and good service? It would be my pleasure to sing. And he downs his drink very quickly and heads over to a small dais in the corner, which is an overturned wash tub in the corner.
Woo! Yeah! Another round of the sewage stuff.
It's called rot gut.
That's what I said. Another round.
No problem. Sebastian starts setting things up. He looks around worriedly. Well, there's no one quite here yet. I don't know who I'd... As he says that, the Hilltopple clan starts pouring in. All 25 of them. Inga, her daughters Helga and Olga, and the rest of their crew start pouring in. And old Charlie says, well, now that's a welcome sight. Is that you, Inga? Old Charlie, it is a pleasure to see you again. We'll need rooms. Of course, half as many as for humans. And drinks all around. Looks like I already got entertainment lined up for you, too. This'll be a real hoot. And the Hilltopple clan all fills like nearly every table in the bar. They order drinks. The young man, Rusty, scampers down from upstairs, sees that the inn is now completely full of people and says, oh, geez, old Charlie, I didn't know we were going to have this many people. And he rushes to the back and starts grabbing a tray and serving everyone. And pretty soon, this bar is just full of rowdy halflings getting drunk for the first time in, like, weeks.
Hey, have you tried this? It's called Rock Gut. It's good.
I think I'll stick to the wine this evening. Hector, it looks so good though. Yes, I agree.
So then I'll just drink the one I got for you. Okay.
So Hector's getting wasted. Zurabak, what are you doing in this bar scene? Anything in particular? You're just getting...
If he keeps putting drinks in front of him, Zurabak's gonna keep drinking them.
Fantastic.
Zurabak's never turned down free or unguarded.
It's true. Zurabak and Hector get sloshed. Rilla, what are you doing?
I'm slowly drinking my first drink, and I gave my second one away because I do not need 2 rock guts, and then I switched to a much lighter beverage, perhaps a cider. And I'm also muttering to myself about how easy it would be to poison either of my companions. That's what I'm doing. Just idiots.
Something to keep in mind for later.
Yeah.
As you all are drinking and lamenting how easy it would be to kill each other, Sebastian sings a song. He starts up, well, this is a time-honored old drinking song that we love up in Ever Spring. And, yeah, I hope you all know the words. When the light begins to fade and all that's left is doubt and dread, when the water starts to rise and waves come crashing o'er your head, when you feel you lack the strength to keep the demons all at bay, just hum this little melody, look to the skies and say this ain't the end. Not of our story. Oh no,
it ain't been written yet.
Every day a tale is told, make sure that yours is writ in bold by narrative as blessed braids. Oh no, this ain't the end. When your enemies abound and you have no friends left in sight, when your spirit has been broken and you've lost the will to fight, when your blade is dull, your shield is cracked and your castle walls give way, just hum this little melody, look to the sky and say this ain't the end, not of my story. No, my end. He starts singing this drinking song, and everyone claps and cheers along. You guys are well into your cups.
Does everyone?
Huh? Oh, right. When I say everyone, I don't mean you. The NPCs don't have agency. You guys can react however you want. Hector's singing along.
For some of it, and then also for some of it, Hector's over by the bar yelling at the bartender, I know that guy! He's my friend!
Fantastic. So Sebastian sings a few more songs, and then as the Hilltopples applaud him, he gets off the little wash tub, comes up to the bar. Well, that was bracing. He wipes some sweat from his face. I haven't been able to sing for a crowd of people in, well, longer than I'd care to remember. Old Charlie says, well, it's good y'all came in. This place could use a little life. Last person that rode through town was some drifter. Ran off with one of our locals. Seemed like a shady type, too. Had some crazy look in her eyes. The local she ran off with, he ain't been seen for days. We had to send old Firehide after him. Local lawman for hire. Not sure how that all shook out, but the local Roy, he was going on and on about some great treasure he found out there in the Badlands. Something one of a kind, he said. Something you can never find anywhere else. Sebastian perks up at that. Something in the Badlands? That's right. Something rare, unique? Did he say what it was? Wouldn't rightly say, but said it was something that could pay his way out of this town and get him back up to Ever Spring. Something that the bards or the lore masters might be interested in? Huh. Well, that might bear some investigating. Where does this local live? Oh, that's Roy. He's Tess's boy. They live out in the scrap yard. I'm sure they're busy tonight, but y'all could go by in the morning, see what they got to sell. I'm sure Inga's gonna need to stock up as well. And Inga, you guys see, is playing cards, like actual cards, with a group of her family, and she slams her hand down on the table and jumps joyously as a giant pile of like poker chips is flung in her direction. Yes, I am the greatest. No one can defeat Inga Hilltopple. And as she does that, like 3 extra cards fall out of her sleeve and hit the floor. And the rest of the night is spent drinking, gambling, singing, and dancing. What do you guys? Is there anything in particular you guys do with this raucous night?
Well, Zurabak stays there until the drinks stop getting put in front of him.
The drinks stop getting put in front of him when Hector passes out.
Yes. Yeah. Hector, you pass out on the bar. At that time, Zurabak, the drink stopped flowing. And I'm going to say, Zurabak, that this isn't a competition, but you drink until you're unconscious, I would argue, right? You're not going to stop drinking, Zurabak,
I'm
right?
not paying for them.
No, of course not. Yeah, so Hector and Zurabak both drink till they pass the fuck out. Snake coiled around Zurabak's waist, snoring fitfully as well, and Book curled up around Hector's feet as he sort of leans against the bar unconscious. Rilla, how have you fared this evening?
I snuck out of the bar pretty early to take advantage of the empty rooms. I took a bubble bath, and then I climbed up on the roof with some drinks, and that's where I am for the night. Watching the cool sky by myself.
Fantastic. It is you feel clean and
well,
human.
Rutherford's with me. But, you know.
Oh, of course. Yeah. You clean yourself, you primp and prune Rutherford, and you feel human elven for the first time in quite a while. You have cleaned off the road dust from yourself and your clothing, and it is a fucking laser Floyd show up there. It is bananas. You get nice and comfortably tipsy on the roof, and you are completely by yourself, away from the gaze of any of your companions for hours and hours as you hear the music of Sebastian float up at you. Do you pass out on the roof?
No, I don't get that drunk.
Gotcha.
But I do stay up there. I don't really need a bed anyway, I'm pretty sure. So I just set up here.
Okay, cool.
For the night, because this is too cool. I've never seen a sky like this. So
fantastic, yeah. Great. So, the night passes. You all in your respective places. Hector and Zurabak, you both wake up. Roll me some fortitude saving throws.
25.
Yeah, Hector, you're absolutely fine. You regularly get into drinking contests with the gatekeeper Grog. This rot gut ain't got shit on you. You wake up early, refreshed, and invigorated after a night of really restorative drinking. Zurabak, what'd you get?
22.
Yeah, you're fine.
Wait, it's versus poison, ain't it?
It is versus poison.
What did I say? 22?
Yeah.
23, 24.
Fantastic. Yeah, Zurabak, the poison that you regularly fuck with in the swamps where you grew up, your homeland, you basically have venom flowing through your veins. This rot gut is literally nothing. You fell asleep because you were tired, not because you were drunk. So you guys wake up.
You wake up and Hector is doing push-ups on the floor of the bar.
You guys wake up bright and early. Rilla, you come downstairs. You meet Sebastian in the hall, who is also cleaned, bathed, Yeah, you guys convene with Inga in the main room. She says, well, last night was a great time. It's good to have some fun after all that horrid stuff on the road. I need to take a trip to Tess's scrapyard. She's a local here, has very interesting things. I've been speaking to the bartender. They may have come into contact with a particularly valuable piece that might be of interest to a bard such as yourself, Sebastian. Oh, yes, I'd very much like to see what they have. There's things in the Badlands that could be very useful to us. Will you all accompany us? I would like to add that since we're actually taking on items and interacting with an actual community, I can actually start paying you. If you'll join me as official bodyguards.
Oh yeah, we were hired help. Oh yeah.
Yes, and now that we are no longer giving away supplies to communities in need, we can actually I officially dub you hired mercenaries for the Hilltopple trading caravan. Congratulations, here is an advance, and she hands you each 100 gold pieces. I may have done some trading while you all slept. Sebastian here, could wake the dead with his singing, so we got a fair amount of trading done. But please, my hired goons.
Zurabak just looks at the money and leaves it on the table.
Hector picks up that money.
Good man. If you'll accompany me to the scrapyard, I would very much appreciate it.
While we travel to the scrapyard, Hector is going to spend the entire time attempting to give that money to Zurabak.
Every time he does, he just drops it in the road.
I would like to attempt to sneak it onto his person.
Oh my.
Roll a sleight of hand. And Zurabak, roll a spot.
Is that
4.
12 altogether.
Yeah, you don't get it, bud.
Yeah, I do not get it.
Rilla, did you have something to add?
Oh, I was just gonna say I try and explain the basics of commerce to Zurabak.
Oh no, I understand. I don't care.
You just don't want it?
He takes the bag, looks at it, and drops on the ground and looks at Rilla.
Hector picks it up.
All right, by about the 10th round of this game, you guys get to what could only be a scrapyard. You get to a lean-to shack, seemingly made out of metal, that is propped up against the side of an enormous swath of crazy industrial shapes. There's tubes, cogs, springs, wires, all piled up in a crazy jumble. That this lean-to shack is set up against. Inga says, this is Tess's scrapyard. As you can see, there's many exotic items that she comes across, her and her son. I hope she's up this early. It is never too early to earn some coin. And, Sebastian, you have the silver tongue, and she may have something that, if the bartender is correct, that you might find useful. Why don't you lead the charge? Especially, well, all right. Here we go. Sebastian walks forward and goes up to the door of this shack. He reaches out a hand and knocks on the door. After a moment, an old woman comes to the door, and Sebastian says, "Oh, hello, madam. It's come to my attention that you may have something of interest. My name is Sebastian Weaver, Bard Extraordinaire of the College of Everspring. I think you and I have something to discuss." This old woman inside the shack looks at Sebastian and says, "Well, what do you want?" "Oh, we were told that you might have some interesting salvage to trade. I'm here with the caravan. These are hired goons, I guess, at this point."
We're guards.
Right. Well, Aren't you, interesting looking lot? Oh, Inga, is that you? Yes, it is, good to see you, Tess. Well, I wish I could say the same. You know, I swear, a bard showing up on my doorstep, now of all times? Actually, kind of fortuitous. Why don't you all come inside? She steps back, and you all see inside this lean-to, there are 3 other people inside. There is a young man in about his 20s who is nursing a couple pretty rough-looking injuries. There's a cut on his scalp, some bruising on his face and ribs. He is being clung to by another young man with curly hair who seems to have be missing the bottom halves of his legs. They seem to have been replaced by some scrap that have been fashioned into prosthetics, pretty solid-looking prosthetics. And there is a third man standing in this lean-to shack. And what does that man look like?
He is a tall, thin man in a brown duster coat and a floppy hat and a perpetual stubble beard, kind of weathered, tanned look to him.
Sebastian.
Who the fuck was that?
That was Alex, our good friend Alex, who, surprise, is joining the show. And you've just met his character. Well, you've just seen his character. Sebastian says, "Oh, it seems we've got a little party going on here. Hello, I'm Sebastian Weaver, Bard Extraordinary." Yeah. We get it. This is my son, Roy, his husband, William, and this is Ruger Firehide. He's a local lawman. He's got the thing you're probably asking about. Ruger, this is a bard. Sebastian, whatever.
Hello, Bard. Come this way from Everspring?
Oh, don't I wish? It's the exact opposite, actually. We've come from just as far south as you can. From the Briar Marsh. Ruger, was it? It's a pleasure to meet you. He walks up and holds out his hand to shake yours.
I reach out and shake it firmly. My friends call me Ruger, but for now, you can call me Firehide.
Firehide, of course. Well, it's a pleasure to meet a lawman out here in the wild places. These are my companions. This is Hector the Gatekeeper, Keeper of the Gates, Rilla Longshadow, and Zurabak.
Say the whole thing.
Zurabak, King of the Shocker Lizards, Champion of the Goats.
Well, all right then. What brings you fine folk to Picker's Run then?
I point at Sebastian.
Wagons? Is wagons the correct answer?
We are, Inga pipes up. You see a halfling woman with lightly graying brown hair done up in a bun and a mole on her cheek. We are, my family, the Hilltopples. We are traders. We're here to do business with Tess. We heard from the bartender in town that there's been some trouble involving an artifact. Something spectacular, something one of a kind. I figured if anyone might be interested in such a thing, it would be a bard. Someone who, with the knowledge, perhaps, to even tell you what it is or what it does. Tess, let us step outside and let them talk. And Tess and Inga step outside. Sebastian looks up at you, Ruger, with wide blue eyes and says, "Is something interesting found out there?"
Well, yes, sir. I would say interesting is one word you could use to describe it. It's,
Ooh, what are some other words you could use to describe it?
I would say unique, unfamiliar, old, and yet beyond me. Does that suffice, Gatekeeper?
I think that's enough words. I'll get back to you.
Great. Great. I'm glad that I've met your arbitrarily assigned numerical value that I needed to meet. That said,
Excuse me, sir, it was a grammatical value I needed you to meet.
well, Gatekeeper, I have a feeling you and I may not always see eye to eye on some situations, this here being one of them. Now that said, no words can truly describe this artifact that I have recovered from one of the most dangerous places on this here.
Then what have we been doing here with you describing it with words for the last...
I lean
don't
over
understand.
to Zurabak and say, is this how human males interact with each other?
Hold on. They'll start punching here soon. And then we take their stuff.
Well,
Okay.
One of the young men in the back of the room, William, he was introduced to as, says, "Okay, can we all just take it down a peg? It seems like we've got some tension here. How about I get some tea? Everyone, I'll fry up some eggs and bacon. Everyone just have a seat and let's stop this weird vibe we've got going. Why don't everyone just have a seat?"
Zurabak looks at him expectantly.
"Sir, with the skull face, do you like bacon?"
Zurabak nods. I assume it's food.
That is a correct assumption. I tell you what, why don't you look like a fair hand in the kitchen. Why don't you come help me over here?
Okay.
I just pumped my fist in happiness because you acquiesced to that. Just saying, yeah, so
Well, there's food involved, so Zurabak's going to go over there.
Oh, for sure. William hands Zurabak a very large knife and brings out a cutting board and puts out a big slab of pig fat. Says, "You just slice this and we'll put it in a frying pan, sizzle it up real good."
Zurabak starts to put it in his mouth.
No. That's up. You slice it first. We need enough for everybody. So as you're working on that, Sebastian says, "Well, so you found something unique that bars description." Roy in the back says, "Well, I mean, technically I found it. Like Firehide, I was out there. I went to the Badlands and found it. Like Firehide I gave it to him, but let's just set the record straight. Like I found the thing, it's I'm just saying."
Roy, I think that's about enough out of you. You hear?
I'm gonna help cook the bacon. That's what I'm gonna go do. Y'all need some help with that? Oh, look at all that bacon.
So, as Roy mentioned, yes, he, and by way of me, we did recover an artifact from the Badlands. But I'll ask you this. Why is it that you're so interested?
I am a bard, good sir. I am devoted to recovering stories, recovering writings, recovering pieces of all of the things that we've lost, and particularly in the Badlands, there are bits of technology that could, if my hunch is correct, aid us greatly in our mission. Our mission being to end the glyph purge once and for all.
I see.
As Sebastian says in the glyph purge, Hector just waves his hands behind Sebastian's head for emphasis.
Give him a dramatic flair.
End the glyph purge!
Rilla sighs heavily and prestidigitates sparks and shit out of Hector's hands.
Yeah, you guys do a full Ginyu force. It's very good.
Zurabak takes the moment of distraction to put something in his mouth.
Yeah, it's great. It's William's hand, and he pulls it back out again very quickly.
Good reflexes.
I would very much like to see what you have found, good sir.
Well, alright, Bard. I'll acquiesce in this instance. And I reach into my satchel and pull out the skull. It is a technological marvel, as far as I see it. It is half of a skull, not of human or elven make, metallic, and full to the brim with gears.
Yeah, you pull out this artifact and present it to Sebastian, this gleaming metal half of a skull, and Sebastian's eyes go wide as dinner plates. He starts to visibly tremble, and he reaches out a hand halfway towards it. I can't believe one of these has wandered across my path. Our path. This is fate. Do you have any idea what this is? Any idea what this can do?
Can't say that I do, Bard.
There are places that used to exist in the old world called libraries. In the time before the Glyph Purge, people would store writings in libraries, books, scrolls, papers, enormous hordes of them, a king's ransom worth. The buildings were so large and they had so many things in them that they built golems specifically to assist with sorting and filing all of these writings. Cipher golems. Cipher golems were built specifically for this task, and they could read. They had to read in order to file the works.
Wait, but... So, Are they alive?
No. They are not mortals. They are constructs, clockwork, made of gears and springs and metal.
So, would they have been affected by the Glyph Purge?
That is precisely what I'm getting at. If we can fix this, this might be the key to unlocking the knowledge in the Stricken's grimoire. It's a small piece, but if we can find a way to rebuild this, find the missing pieces, put one working version back together, we might be able to read the Stricken's grimoire, or at least have this thing read it.
Well, that would be pretty indescribable. And I turn to Firehide and I hold out a hand.
Am I supposed to do something with that extended paw, sir?
I am acquiescing that this is, in fact, indescribable.
Fantastic. I'm glad that we have now agreed upon the words or lack thereof that describe this object. Also, the bard has done his thing and elaborated on the importance of said artifact. I also heard quite a few wees bandied about in his diatribe, and I will ask you, at what point did I become involved with y'all?
Oh no, I think the we was us, not... You're not one of we.
Great. I'm glad that we have established that. So then, to be clear, we are what here? Having a negotiation of cost?
We have to have this artifact. We cannot leave here without it. That is where we are at. I need to fully explain to you the context of what you've just wandered into.
No, I'm pretty sure that I can surmise. You suggested that what I hold in my hands is the key to solving the Glyph Purge. I'm pretty sure I heard you clearly the first time.
You mean when he said that you could read the book of the thing that caused the Glyph Purge? Don't you think maybe you just make another Glyph Purge? This isn't like the best strategy that I've ever heard, Sebastian.
Well, I think understanding the text is key to understanding how to reverse it.
The Stricken's grimoire could have the blueprints, the magical know-how of how the glyph purge came to be, how he forged it in the first place. If we can make sense of it, if we have some way of reading it, even remotely, we could find the weakness, find how to reverse it. We could bring the written word back to all of Myosha and then destroy the book, throw it into the deepest pit we could find afterwards.
Well, I am but a simple country, forest elf, but y'all clearly don't know how to barter, so I'm just gonna back out of this. You could have made it at least sound like it wasn't the key to saving the world.
The elf does have a good point. I mean, you really came in soft here in these negotiations.
Awful.
So you're telling me that this thing that we could use to save the world, you're gonna hardball us on that?
Well now, Gatekeeper, perhaps I should clarify. It was only last night that I recovered this artifact, and blood was spilled in order to retrieve this. And I don't know you. I don't know her. I don't know him. And I don't know what that is that you all brought into the kitchen. But I will say
Zurabak,
that,
king of the shocker lizards,
yes,
champion of the goats.
what he said made as little sense this time as it did the last. But I will say that y'all have explained the importance of this artifact to me. And so now I must ask, well, who are y'all for me to give it to?
We are the protagonists of the great tale. Ooh.
Very well said, Hector. Perhaps a little too much. What?
We are 3 Shanghaied idiots following a tiny bard.
Now, Rilla, that's too far in the other direction. Let's try to find the middle ground, okay?
Hungry.
Let's
We are chosen warriors on a path of greatness.
You know what now? Why don't we all just shut up for just a second and put some bacon and eggs in our mouths? Because I'll tell you what, I'm tired of hearing all y'all jabber.
Roy,
all right?
That is a damn good idea. I think a little bit of pork would do us all nicely.
Agreed.
Firehat, I'm surprised at you giving these people so much sass. Just wandering in. Where's your manners? God. And you, Mr. Gatekeeper, man, you're being a little, William, what's the word? Pedantic? Yeah, that's the word, Roy. Yeah, pedantic. I'd say consonants and verbs and word counts. I don't know what y'all talking about. So you all sit down and Roy hands out breakfast. There's very beautifully, if horrifically unevenly sliced bacon. Only half of it's hanging out of Zurabak's mouth. The other half, there's plenty to go around. And yeah, you all eat for a second. A nice, comfortable quiet falls over the room as you all munch on this bacon. Roy says, well, so, all right, so what? So I knew this thing was valuable. Shit, my mom knew this thing was valuable. This golem's head, I knew first time I saw it. But I thought it'd be like, just like regular valuable, not like could fit. You're telling me this could fix the glyph purge?
And that's why you must donate it to the cause.
Nah. Destroy it.
Well, now, all I can take notice of is the fact that there's 4 of you. And so far, all 4 of you seem to have your own opinions about what to do with this object. Again, I must stress my apprehension.
Good sir, we have battled from the Briar Marsh through the gate. We've fought invisible assassins, grimlocks. We've fought cultists worshipping the stricken. We've come across the aftermath of an attack from the Knights of the Pyre.
Knights of the Pyre? Where?
Blackrock.
In the town?
Most of the people survived. They've lost a lot of buildings, though.
And food.
Narrativa blessed, then, that so many people were spared. How long ago back was this?
Like 9 days ago?
Recent. Sons of bitches. Well, look. I don't know y'all. I don't trust y'all. Let's be clear. I have spent too many nights on these roads, and I've seen what men and women will do to each other in hard times. But, that being said, I cannot turn a blind eye towards what you, Sebastian, have said. If this skull can help, then by rights it should. But I can't give it to you. So where y'all heading?
Are you familiar with the Badlands, good sir?
Am I familiar? Suffice it to say, sir, yes, I am.
We are heading to Everspring. We'll need to take the road north between...
I'm familiar with the road, sir, and I'm familiar with the city and the slickers who live therein. Okay. Are you heading to Everspring?
Yes, sir. We'll need a guide.
Well, you found you one.
Oh, fun. So it'll be like the protagonists of Legend and also Ruger Firehide going on an adventure. That's fun. Well, I have no problems with what's happening. This is great.
Yeah, that's honestly still undecided at this point.
Sir, you perked up a bit when I mentioned the Knights of the Pyre.
You could say that. And your point?
They're pretty awful.
Well, I think we can all agree on the horrors that come with that cult of villains.
I hope it's not too personal, but I couldn't help but notice the scars on your arms.
Well,
Have you had a run-in with the Knights of the Pyre?
you could say that, sir, yes. I have met their kind more than a few times. One most prominently. But for now, the past is the past, sir. If y'all are going to Everspring, I can help you get there. I'll keep this skull here nice and safe and in my eyes, especially away from the one with the skull painted. I don't know what that's about, but I'm skeptical. And this, as a matter of fact, I'm not sure what is happening with this gatekeeper, but I believe he and I might have to settle it in some form or fashion. Now the elf, though. She's made some damn good points this evening, and she's got a very pretty fluffy cat, so it's in y'all's favor.
His name is Rutherford B. Hayes, by the by. If that, needs to be taken into account.
Well, Mr. Firehide, if you can help us through, we would certainly appreciate it, and I can assure you that with the artifact in your possession, which we will not try to part you with, you could have an instrumental role in fundamentally saving the written word and the collective knowledge of all mortals in Miosha. That is the best haggling I can do.
Well, sir, I would suggest a little bit more practice then. But all those fluffy words aside, let's be real honest here for a moment. If the Badlands come next, then talk of the future is futile. With the Badlands, there's only the Badlands. After comes after. Do you understand?
Oh my. I think I do.
While he's distracted, I take Sebastian's food.
Yeah, he doesn't even notice. Well then, I suppose we've got some preparations to make. Hope that Inga's done with her negotiations with Tess. I'm sure they went better than ours. As he says that, Inga pops her head into this shack that you've all been enjoying your breakfast and says, have not so good news. I had Helga and Olga run out, scouting ahead. They scouted the northern road that runs between the Springvale Forest and the Badlands. It's gone. The road is gone. Apparently the Badlands have moved. So that's not good.
Well, to be honest, ma'am, it's nothing unexpected. Badlands have been growing for years now.
Rilla curses quietly in Elven.
From what my daughters told me, it's butting up against the forest itself. Some of the trees are starting to die. It's a grim sight. We're going to need a guide to get north, I think. Does anyone know of one?
No. As I shove more food into my mouth.
Miss Hilltopple, yes, the matter of the guide has in fact been resolved. Worry not.
Oh, well, that's handy. I hope whoever the guide is, they're ready for an adventure.
You could say that.
At some point, I want to kind of talk to Ruger on the side. Hey man, I'm just giving you trouble because you're the new guy.
Yes, sir. I gathered as much.
And then I hold up my hand that I burned badly in the firefight. And just show him that I also have burn scars.
I see. You bear the mark of the flame as well. And I extend my hand.
And I turn into a baby that looks like a mix of the two of them so that they know what their child would look like.
Zurabak steals all of their food.
And that's where we'll end. I hate all of you. Hello and welcome to As the Dice Turns, the podcast after the podcast where we take a deep dive into our player characters' psychology, their hopes, their fears, frustrations, and motivations, and try to get a deeper understanding of them as characters. In this segment of the show, we'd like to ask each of our player characters a question in turn and see if we can't glean some deeper knowledge of them as people. The question for today's episode is, do you believe in destiny? Getting a little heavy this time, but I think our characters are up to the task. We're going to start this episode with Rilla Longshadow. Rilla, how are you today?
I'm all right. This place is getting filthy to the point where I can no longer tell it's a room.
It's humid too. It's surprisingly humid, and that's the part that I don't understand. There's a dankness.
I think the vents are all full of water now.
Now that you mention it, they are. Yeah. Sharon, can we get the vents? Sharon, can you clean those out? Sharon will get on the vents. Well, while we have you here, thank you as always for taking time out of your busy schedule. The question today is, do you believe in fate? Is destiny, is the preordained actions of people, is that something that gels with you? Do you believe in fate or destiny?
No way in hell. No. Nope. Nope. Nope.
Okay, a sharp rebuke. Let's unpack why is that?
Because if everything happens due to fate or destiny, then my parents were killed due to fate or destiny when they had me and an infant baby to take care of. And this godforsaken magic that made me so different is also destiny. Destiny is a crutch. I don't believe in it.
Well, that certainly makes sense. I can understand how you wouldn't want to give up control of your life to such a fickle and, well, tragic system. If everything's preordained and the terrible things that happen were supposed to happen, I can understand why that wouldn't sit right with you.
You know what's not a good thing to tell a small child is that everything happens for a reason when their parents die. Just saying. So no. I control my own fate in that I choose the decisions that will create my life. That's what it is.
Well, that makes perfect sense to me. I can understand how you've come to that conclusion, and that certainly gels. I can see how your life experiences have led to that understanding, and I appreciate your candor. I can't imagine how hard that was growing up and being told that over and over again.
Do you think it's your fate to live in a swamp?
I think that my destiny, if not guided by the gods, has been guided by Zurabak, and it's the same thing. I don't see a difference, personally. I don't see a difference.
Don't let him know that. He'll call himself, like, king of the radio or something.
Well, you can't fight progress, right? It's just a matter of time. Well, Rilla, thank you very much for that very insightful answer, and watch your step on the way out. It's just everything's slimy. Please be careful.
Yeah, I'm getting out of here.
Hector, the gatekeeper, keeper of the gates, thank you very much for coming to the studio. A pleasure as always to see you, sir.
Pleasure to see you as well. And can I just say, I caught a glimpse of your car outside, and I just really admire how good you are at saving money.
I've been called the thriftiest shopper in my family on more than one occasion. You'll notice that my pants are actually made of scraps of many other pairs of pants that I painstakingly stitched together. It's a bit of a patchwork, but every penny counts. That's why I haven't paid for a cleaning crew to come in here and take out all of Zurabak's swamp mess. So, there's some trade-offs, but I appreciate the compliment. Hector, the question we have today, to get down to business here, is do you believe in fate? Do you believe in destiny?
Well, now I think I have to answer that question with a question, and that is, what is fate? What is destiny? Now, do I think that every move that we make, we were predestined to do that already, and that we don't have any free will? No. But do I think that we all have a path that we can choose to follow? Yes.
That's an interesting distinction. Do you feel that you are on a path that you are following specific to yourself?
I would not be doing the things I have been doing if I thought anything else.
And out of curiosity, do you know in which direction your path lies? Do you have a destination in mind?
No. That, I think, is something that's been put before me and is still yet for me to be, to find.
Okay, so you don't believe that everything we do or say is preordained, but you do feel that if destiny itself isn't real, that you yourself have a destiny.
Yeah. That the story is there. And whether or not you choose to accept your role in the story will find someone to fill that role.
That's interesting. I enjoy the philosophy of that answer. That's very, very interesting. Well, thank you so much for that answer and your candor, Hector. It's a pleasure as always to have you, and please watch your step on the way out.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Next, we go to Zurabak, king of the shocker lizards, champion of the goats. Zurabak, how are you today?
I am doing well.
Well, that's horrifying coming from you. I don't even know what that would mean, but we got to power through here. So, Zurabak, do you believe in destiny or fate?
No.
Gotcha. You don't believe that anything's preordained, that our futures are written in the stars, that everything is laid out before it even happens?
Zurabak is fate. Yes.
Can you tell me what you mean by that?
I will always be here. This is my swamp.
Oh, okay. Well, that's chilling and edging on omnipotence, but I guess that is an answer. If asked, do you believe in fate, Zurabak says he is fate, and we'll just move on along, because I don't like the way you're looking at me.
You shouldn't.
And, yeah, Sharon, can you see Zurabak? Sharon, can you get Zurabak, please?
She's busy cleaning.
She is busy cleaning. Well, I think I heard there were some shocker lizards outside looking for their liege. If you want to go check on them.
They can handle themselves. It's their swamp too.
Zurabak, you have to go, okay? We have another protagonist. You have to leave. I'm sorry, but you have to go, please.
I'll be back.
I know you will. God. Please, someone help me. And, sorry. Finally, we have the newest addition to our little adventure here. We have the ranger, the lawman, Ruger Firehide. Ruger, thank you so much for stopping by the studio. We really appreciate you coming through here. How are you today?
Well, sir, I am doing just fine. Though I should ask, are you crying?
My face is wet from the swamp water and the humidity. It's very dank in here from all the plant life. That's all it is.
Now, sir, it's all right. Yes, the conditions are in fact a little swampy, but otherwise life is pretty all right, wouldn't you say?
I mean, I guess the microphones are still working, and that's something. No one's been electrocuted yet. That's a miracle. I don't even know how I managed that. You're right. Things are okay. Well, Ruger, welcome to As the Dice Turns. The first question that we have for you, a real easy one, real softball. Do you believe in fate?
Wow. That's your cold open, eh? That's your welcome to the party. Hi, Ruger. Have a seat. Nice to see you. Tell me your deepest, darkest secrets. Paint me a picture of the corner of your soul. Is that where we're at, sir?
Well, Ruger, I think you've touched on specifically what this show is for. And yes, you will be blitzed with incredibly personal and revealing questions just about every time you come by here. No one else seems to complain about it. You know, it's just how we roll. You know, our listeners are, very interested in what makes you tick. And yeah, this is how we start. So, do you believe in fate?
Well, sir, I don't know about fate, but what I can tell you I believe in is choice. I believe that choice matters. That what we do day in and day out is what defines us. And if that means that walking down that road is preordained, well, I can't say. But what I can say is, why am I walking down the damn road in the first place? And that is to help people. That is to save people. That is what I do, and that is what I believe, sir.
Well, that's a very interesting take on the matter. So your view is that destiny is irrelevant. All that matters is the things that we decide to do, and
Well,
destiny.
I would say, sir, that you might be putting a word or two in my mouth. I
I
I
apologize.
am a narrative-fearing man. Okay? It should be said that I understand that the gods play their parts. I would be a fool to declare erstwise. But I would not say that they make our choices for us. I would say that our choices inform Narrativa's story, not the other way around.
A very important distinction. I think you may be onto something there. It's a very good answer, and I must say, quite the eloquent first entry into our little show here. Ruger Firehead, thank you very much for your candor and for that look inside the corner of your soul, as you so eloquently put it. We hope to see you here regularly here on As the Dice Turns. And yeah, make sure you say hi to Sharon on the way out. She's busy cleaning over there, but I'm sure she'd love to meet you. Sharon, we got another one. Yeah, we tricked another one to just tell us all their secrets. I'm sorry. It's crazy, right? It's just, they just tell us anything. oh shit, my mic's still on. Oh, sorry. So Ruger, thanks for coming. Yeah.
All right then. I think I'll just, now's the good day, sir.
Yeah, good day. Watch the mold. Watch the mold. And that'll do it for As the Dice Turns, the podcast after the podcast. Sharon and I would like to thank you so much for listening to our little show. And until next time, keep those dice turning. Hey there, dear listeners. Sam, the DM here, just checking in with the end credits. Thank you so very much for listening to Challenge Rating 0. Your listens mean the absolute world to us. We've been looking through some of our data, just combing through all the metadata of all of our listens, and it seems like there's people in other countries besides the US that are actually downloading and listening to this show. And I'd like to say, for all our international listeners, merci, dankeschön, grazie, or what, just, whatever. Just thanks. Thank you. We appreciate it. Music for As the Dice Turns is provided by the dreaded harp wolf Danielle Taylor Williams. You may have noticed we got a new song in there that she and I worked on that I am a little too proud of. Danielle has an album out called Why Are We Surprised When Seasons Change? It's very, very good. You can find her work at danielletaylorharp.bandcamp.com. Give her a listen. Tell her we sent you. It's very good stuff. Additional music for the show is provided by Justin Ra, who also has an album out called Age of the Spirit. You can look him up on Facebook at Justin Ra Music. Let's see. If you'd like to reach out to us here at Challenge Rating 0, you can give us an email at challengerating0@gmail.com. You can send us As the Dice Turns questions. If we like what you send in, it will be read on the show. And we just love to hear from you folks. That's challengerating0@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook at Challenge Rating 0, where we regularly post updates on when the next episode will be. And, just throw out some memes, just some sick sick memes that Parker finds because he doesn't have anything better to do. You can follow us on Instagram, same thing, just memes up and down, at Challenge Rating 0. You can find us on Twitter at challenge_ZERO. Let's see. Beth, you can find her on Twitter at Dragon, the letter N, Distress. Brian is at Dalabrak. I, your Dungeon Master, am at Horace Kemp 3, HORUSKEMP3. Alex, the newest member of the show, you can find him on Twitter at Alex Klenke, KLENKE. And let's see what else. Oh yeah, I have a website. If anyone's interested in hiring out this DM for a digital session for a special occasion or, just a one-off with some buddies, you can go to samthedm.com and, find out how to hire me to run a virtual D&D game for you and your friends. There's also links to the show's social media on there, links to my social media. So if you want to follow along with the show on all of our various social media profiles, you can also go to samthedm.com and click the podcast tab, which will take you to, just all of our stuff. So, again, Why Are We Surprised When Seasons Change by Danielle Williams. Check it out. It's a good album. Age of the Spirit by Justin Ra. Check it out. It's a good album. Find us on Twitter. Find us on Facebook. Find us on Instagram. Check out my website. I worked really hard on it. I'm very proud of it. And I'm a very good Dungeon Master. I didn't say that last part. That's vain. That's for you to decide, But, hire me or whatever. It's cool. Thank you very much for listening to Challenge Rating 0. We love you all very much. And we'll see you next time. Bye.